I'd like to start by asking a question. Why should anyone deal with us or do business with us if we are not happy, positive, and helpful? But of course, being human beings in challenging times, it's not always easy to be all of those things when we don't always feel like it. So what I would like to do this afternoon is share some experiences and share a philosophy for being positive when we might not feel like being positive, and for overcoming adversity. From the 7th of March, 1995, I was running a large program in East Africa, clearing landmines in the north of Mozambique. I was walking back up a cleared lane. Something felt wrong. I was in the middle of a safe lane, and I was blown up by a landmine it wasn't possible for my men to locate. However, focusing on the positives, I always said if my men ever missed a landmine, I wanted to be the first to know about it. But that wasn't quite what I meant. Hey, look, I should have died. They told me I should have died in that minefield. The reason I didn't was because I fought for life with every tiny bit of strength and energy I had left. And living is the hardest thing I've done. We must make the best of life and not waste the opportunities. You see, when I was dying physically, what I remember is not the things that I'd done in my life. I was haunted by the things I hadn't done, by the times when I could have done better, by the times I had not lived life to the full with passion and with enthusiasm, squeezing all the juice out of life, the times when I had not made the best of it. Has anybody ever kept pigs? Do you know, I asked this yesterday, and this woman put her hand up and said, no, but I used to live with one. That was the view from my balcony in Cambodia, and I know from my farming training and experience, first degree agriculture, I know that the pig is the most intelligent of all farm animals. So I was fascinated. Why was it that that pig didn't pull the stick out? If you look behind the child, you follow that rope from his front left leg. There is a white stone just to the side of the child, and there was a stick that was just pushed into the ground, and I couldn't understand why he didn't pull the stick out and go and eat the vegetables the other side of the garden. Why was it? Because I knew he was intelligent enough to work it out. Pigs are the only farm animal that don't actually manure where they eat. They are really smart, and they are thought to be more intelligent than dogs. And he's clearly strong enough to pull that stick out, so why doesn't he do it? This is what fascinated me. When they sent him to market and they replaced him with a small pig, a little one like this, they just left the stick in the ground and tied the rope onto the little one's leg, and he pulled and pulled and squealed until eventually he gave up after 2 days. He just knew he couldn't do it, so he gave up. But as he grew, they untied the rope and they tied it back onto his leg. And when he was a big pig, quite capable of pulling the stick and the stone out of the ground, the reason he didn't wasn't because he couldn't. Wasn't because he wasn't strong enough. He was clearly capable. It was simply because he did not believe that he could. And therefore, he had learned to be helpless. I asked this question in a workshop I was running. When I was first blown up in hospital, let me be honest, the worst bit was I thought for a few moments, one arm and one leg. Let's face it, you're never going to get a date with a nice girl again. And then I said to myself, right, take ownership. Take ownership. Believe in yourself and don't take it personally. And when I did all of those three things, I thought for a moment and I thought, well, I need to be more upbeat about this. And I thought for a moment, well, you never know, with one arm and one leg, there might be some nice girls who do charity sex. So I thought, right, I'm going to believe that, so I'm going to get out there and I'm going to get a date with a nice girl. So I went out and I asked a few, and of course I didn't expect rejection, so I didn't get it. And I met this nice girl, and do you know what? It got romantic very quickly. It was fabulous. I didn't have to pay or anything. By the way, I'm only joking about the last bit. Anyway, what I didn't tell her was I'd had this embarrassing thing with my arm. You see, my arm's held on by suction, and as I move around, it makes these noises. Can you hear that? How would you describe that? What's the Polish word for farting? Okay, well, I think you got it. That's it. So I was a bit embarrassed, and when I moved suddenly and my artificial arm made that terrible noise, she looked at me. She was completely shocked, but it was okay, because I took ownership. I believed in myself, and I didn't take it personally. I just looked at her and I said, "Darling, my little bottom has blown you a kiss." And do you know what she said? She said, "Stop trying to hold my head under the duvet. That's very childish." But once I'd stopped taking it personally, it stopped being a problem. Now, I'd like to give you a philosophy for being positive when we do not feel like being positive. It is born out of experience. And remember, laughter is the best medicine. So when I was blown up, that's what I did. I was realistic. I understood what was going on. Let me give you the formula. When something seriously difficult happens, it is vital to work out the worst case scenario. So when I was blown up, it was exactly as you saw in that film earlier. They recreated it very accurately, and it was taken from a drama documentary with the very cheerful title, I Shouldn't Be Alive. I was lying there and I thought, okay, worst case scenario, body produces endorphins. I've had good medical training. You don't feel any pain to begin with. And then after that, it gets so bad you want to die. And then I thought, right, okay, worst case scenario is both legs blown off. I will be taking my last breath, about to die. I look down, I see my lower left leg is still there, but my lower right leg has completely gone. I see my left hand is there. I see my right hand is really badly damaged. But already this is not as bad as it could be, not by a long way, because I've got my left arm and my left leg. I shout my casualty status to my backup team on the road. I'm a casualty, lower right leg blown off, right hand badly damaged. Get on the radio, see if you can call in a helicopter. And then I do what my training says, to look for secondary injuries. I picked up loads of people who've been blown up. A lot of them were losing a lot of blood and they didn't even know it. So I look down to look for secondary injuries, anything I might have missed, and I see all this blood around my groin. And at this point, you can forget all the training in the whole world. I just started praying to the big man upstairs. Please God, please God, please God, do not let me have my manhood blown off. And I should, of course, explain at this moment that it wasn't that I couldn't afford to lose a few centimeters, it was the principle of the matter. And I thought, what does this mean? And I thought, no sex ever again. And I thought, right, stop, you've got to see reality and put a positive perspective on it. And I thought for a moment, and then I thought, well, I don't know why I'm worried, because I never actually have any sex anyway, so why worry? And then I thought, right, okay, face reality. You've got to see how bad the damage was. I was fiddling around for ages. That was nothing new. But then I found it was all still there. My manhood was all still there, and the medic came down the lane, and I was laughing, and I was elated, going, this is not as bad as it could be. I still have my left arm, my left leg, and my manhood. And here, why do I tell you this story in such honest detail? Why? Because that is the worst situation I have ever been in. And yet I was still able to feel elated and positive. Why? Because I made a choice. I made a choice to think that way, to focus, okay, on reality. We have to be realistic. I worked out the worst case scenario. I put a positive perspective on it. And then that allowed me to choose a positive attitude.